they letting it be known that Shedeur Sanders will see the field at some point during the 2025 season. What does that mean for Dylan Gabriel? Means very, very, very bad news, man. So let's pull up this article right now. I ain't finna waste no time at all. We finna get right down to business. And the business being Dylan Gabriel getting that knock on his front door. Browns Dylan Gabriel get bad news as Shedeur Sanders pathways opens, bro. Yes! Although Joe Flacco has been named the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback for week 1, that doesn't guarantee he'll be playing all 17 games for the Browns.
Breaking news. The Browns ownership just confirmed what we've all been waiting to hear. Shedeur Sanders will play this season, and Dylan Gabriel is officially in serious trouble. This isn't speculation anymore. This isn't just rumors floating around social media. This is straight from Cleveland insiders who are now admitting that Shedeur is going to see real game action before this season ends.
Against my guy, Shedeur Sanders.
This is a ridiculous complaint lodged against me. Second of all, I also want to apologize because in order to defend myself, I have to take a victory lap, okay? And by doing that, what I mean is...
While Dylan Gabriel thought he had that backup spot locked down, the organization just threw him a curveball that could end his Cleveland dreams before they even started. The whispers are getting louder, the pressure's mounting, and what I'm about to break down for you is going to change everything you thought you knew about this quarterback battle that's about to explode.
As Cleveland Browns' future starter down the line. Now, as for Shedeur, he'll also get some live action this season, but probably not until later in the season when he's more seasoned. And Flacco. Hold on, I think I just skipped. As he's more seasoned and as for Sanders, he'll get more live action. Flacco will have to make sure he's at the top of his game. So basically, she's saying that.
What's good, football family? Your boy's back with another one. And man, do I have some TA for you today. You know, when I saw this news drop, I literally had to put my phone down and take a breath because what just happened in Cleveland is about to send shockwaves through the entire NFL.so. Check this out. We all knew Joe Flacco was getting the start for week 1, right? That was expected. The 40-year-old veteran getting his shot while the young guns learn the system. But what nobody saw coming was Cleveland Browns insiders. And I'm talking about people with real connections to this organization coming out and basically putting Dylan Gabriel on notice that his time might be shorter than anyone imagined. And here's where it gets spicy, my friends. Mary Kay Cabot, and I know some of y'all got feelings about her reporting, but listen, this woman has been covering the Browns for years. She's got sources deep in that organization, and when she speaks, people listen. Well, she just dropped a report that's got Dylan Gabriel probably pacing around his apartment right now, wondering what the hell just happened to his NFL dreams, according to Mary Kay's sources. And these are people inside the Browns building, not some random dude. On Twitter, the Browns are ready to make moves quick if things don't go according to plan. She's reporting that if Joe Flacco starts struggling, if he's turning the ball over or taking too many sacks, they're not going to sit around and wait for a miracle. They're going to make a change, and here's the kicker. While everyone assumed that change would automatically be Dylan Gabriel, the 94th pick in the draft, that's not necessarily the case anymore.
It's vitally important that they come out of the 2026 draft with their quarterback of the future, unless, of course, Dylan Gabriel establishes that he is their surefire 100% can't miss guy this year. And it might be tough to do that unless he has a lot of playing time and a lot of games and a lot of data. So they are going to be crisscrossing the country, looking at all of these quarterbacks and trying to determine the best course of action in 2026.
See, this is where the plot thickens like a good movie. And trust me, what I'm about to tell you is going to have you understanding why Dylan Gabriel should be worried. Real worried. The Browns aren't just looking at this season as a development year for their young quarterbacks. They're looking at it as an audition, a tryout where only the strongest survive. The insider reports are saying that Shedeur Sanders, Coach Prime's son, the kid who's been turning heads since he stepped foot in that facility, is going to get his shot this season. Not just garbage time, not just preseason snaps. Real, meaningful playing time where he can show what he's made of. And if you're Dylan Gabriel right now, that's got to feel like a punch to the gut.
And now you're seeing Shedeur Sanders We're wondering the what ifs because he was really good in training camp. 70 to 80% completion rate. Every test that came his way, he passed it. If you exclude that last preseason game, which is a blip on the radar considering everything else from May to the end of August, when you're looking at that,
Think
you
about
got
it from
Dylan
Dylan's perspective for a second. He's thinking he's the clear number 2, right? He's thinking all he has to do is wait for his opportunity. Maybe Flacco gets hurt or struggles, and boom, he's the starting quarterback for an NFL team. But now he's got to worry about not just performing when his number's called, but performing better than Shedeur Sanders, who's got all the intangibles that NFL scouts drool over. And let me tell you something about Shedeur that the haters don't want to admit. This kid has been preparing for moments like this his entire life. Growing up as Deion Sanders' son, you think he doesn't know pressure? You think he doesn't know what it takes to perform when the lights are brightest and the stakes are highest? The radio guys from 92.3 The Fan were breaking this down this morning. And man, they were laying out some harsh reality for these quarterbacks. They're talking about how the Browns are going to be crisscrossing the country, looking at college quarterbacks for the 2026 draft unless somebody steps up and proves there. The franchise guy. Can you imagine the pressure that puts on Dylan Gabriel? He's not just competing for playing time anymore. He's competing for his entire NFL future. One of the analysts said something that really stuck with me. He said, competition always brings out the best in everyone, and no matter where you're at in the NFL, there's always going to be someone pressing you. But here's the thing. That's easy to say when you're not the one feeling the heat. When you're Dylan Gabriel, knowing that every practice, every preseason snap, every opportunity you get is being compared not just to what Joe Flacco brings to the table, but to what Shedeur Sanders might bring to the table, that's a different kind of pressure entirely. And let's be real about what we saw in the preseason. The radio analysts were brutally honest about this. They said neither Gabriel nor Sanders showed enough to beat out a 40-year-old quarterback whose best days are behind him. But here's where I think they're missing something crucial about Shedeur specifically. See, when you're Shedeur Sanders, you're not just trying to beat out Joe Flacco. You're carrying the weight of expectations that come with being Coach Prime's son. You're dealing with people who want to see you fail just to prove that nepotism doesn't work in the NFL. You're handling criticism and scrutiny that most rookies never have to face. So when he didn't immediately light up the preseason, some people took that as a sign of weakness. But I'm telling you right now, and mark my words on this, that's exactly the kind of adversity that makes champions. Shedeur has been dealing with doubters and haters his entire football career, and every single time, he's found a way to rise above it. At Jackson State, when people said he couldn't handle the pressure of following his father's footsteps, what did he do? He balled out. When he transferred to Colorado, and people said he was just chasing daddy's spotlight, what did he do? He proved he belonged at the highest level of college football. Now here's where this gets really interesting for Dylan Gabriel specifically. The Browns organization is making it clear that they're not married to any particular timeline or depth chart. Mary Kay's reporting suggests that if Joe Flacco struggles early in the season, they're not going to hesitate to make a change. But more importantly, they're also making it clear that whoever steps up in that moment better be ready to perform, because this isn't a charity case. The brutal reality that Dylan Gabriel is facing right now is that he's not just competing against Shedeur Sanders for backup duties. He's competing against Shedeur Sanders for the future of the franchise. And if we're being completely honest about the skill sets, the arm talent, the football IQ, and the clutch gene that you need to succeed in today's NFL, Shedeur Sanders has advantages that are hard to ignore. That I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel can't play. The man got drafted for a reason. But when you're talking about a quarterback who's been groomed for this moment his entire life, who's been around NFL-level coaching and preparation since he was old enough to hold a football, who's dealt with pressure situations that would break most college players, that's a different breed of competitor. And here's something that's not getting enough attention in all this drama. The Browns front office is clearly thinking long-term. They're not just trying to win games this season. With Joe Flacco, they're trying to identify their quarterback of the future, and they want to see what they have in both of these young guys under real game conditions. The radio discussion revealed something fascinating about the organization's mindset. They're already talking about the 2026 draft and how important it is for them to find their franchise quarterback. But here's the twist. They're basically saying that unless Dylan Gabriel proves he's a surefire 100% can't-miss guy this season, they're going to keep looking. That's a hell of a standard to set for a rookie quarterback, isn't it? Essentially, Dylan Gabriel has to be perfect, or at least close to perfect, to secure his future in Cleveland. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders gets to come in with a different kind of pressure, the pressure to prove that all the hype and expectations are justified, but also the opportunity to show that he's everything the organization hoped he could be when they drafted him. The psychological warfare aspect of this situation is absolutely fascinating. Imagine being in Dylan Gabriel's shoes right now, knowing that every rep in practice, every decision you make in meetings, every throw you make in warm-ups is being evaluated not just against current performance standards, but against the potential that Shedeur Sanders represents. But you know what? I actually think this competition is going to bring out the best in both quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel is going to have to elevate his game to levels he's never reached before. He's going to have to show pocket presence, decision-making, and leadership. That proves he belongs in the NFL. And Shedeur Sanders? He's going to have to prove that all the bloodline advantages and coaching he's received translates to real NFL success. Here's what I think is going to happen, and this is just my prediction. Based on what I'm seeing and hearing from these insider reports, Joe Flacco is going to start the season, and he's probably going to play reasonably well for the first few weeks. But sometime around mid-season, whether it's due to injury, performance, or just the organization wanting to see what they have in their young guys, we're going to see some changes. And when that moment comes, when the Browns decide it's time to see what the future looks like, I believe Shedeur Sanders is going to get the first shot. Not because the organization doesn't believe in Dylan Gabriel, but because they want to see if the guy with the highest ceiling can reach it when it matters most. The pressure is real, the stakes are high, and the NFL dreams of multiple young men are hanging in the balance. Dylan Gabriel is going to have to prove that he's not just a capable backup, but a legitimate starting quarterback in this league. Shedeur Sanders is going to have to prove that he's not just riding on his father's reputation, but that he's earned every opportunity through his own talent and preparation. This is going to be one of the most compelling quarterback competitions to watch unfold during the 2025 season. The Browns have essentially created a pressure cooker situation where only the strongest will survive. And honestly, that's exactly what you want in your franchise quarterback. So what do you think is going to happen? Are you Team Dylan Gabriel, believing that his draft position and early opportunities give him the edge? Or are you Team Shedeur Sanders, thinking that his bloodline, preparation, and clutch gene are going to shine through when the lights get brightest? Drop your predictions in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button because this quarterback battle is just getting started, and you know your boy is going to be covering every twist and turn as this story develops. The Browns just made this season a whole lot more interesting, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out.